Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Husband Quotes, the channel for marriage advice, marriage entertainment, and everything else marriage. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel.
Last episode, everybody that's been watching Ready to Love on the last episode, no questions just yet. I want to really kind of just yet, and I'm gonna tell you when. I really want to kind of hit this with precision, and make you guys, just fully aware of what's been going on the show. Let me first say this before I dive in. I don't owe, and I want you to understand this, and I say this with love. I'm telling you, I don't owe a response or an answer to anyone. This is a show, right? This is a very small portion of my life, right? And with that being said, I am opening myself up to give answers where there's no answers, because there's a lot of people that are fans of the show. And I think it would almost do it a disservice if you were not fully informed on everything so that you can make your decisions on, hey, who am I actually rooting for? What am I rooting for? What's happening on this show? And what is it that I can't piece together? So while I don't owe anything, please just kind of understand that I am opening myself up to that, and with that, I'll share this with you. I'll be very vulnerable with you and say this, man. This show, I have been going to God about this show, man, because whether you like me or don't like me or have an opinion about me, the Lord knows my heart, and no matter how it was depicted or presented or what cuts and edits or versions you got, I am opening myself up to share things with you for what you did not piece together. So it's easy to see something and make a decision on it. But how many of us, time out, and you know this to be true, how many of us run away with not all the information, and you make a judgment call on something not having all the information? And sometimes things, when they're being produced and when they're being edited and there's a narrative, they're going to show you what they're building. I have no control over production. I have no hand in it whatsoever. As a matter of fact, before I get into it, there's so much recording that's going on. At the end of the day, when they're done recording, they sit down and piece together, what do we want to show our audience? I have no control, and it is not my heart to hurt anybody, flip on anybody. It's not my job. It's not my heart to lead anybody on. And I'm gonna dive into this stuff. I'm not the type of person that would try to win a love competition and get to the end. That's not me. I don't do that. God knows my heart with that. I don't manipulate things. I just don't do things like that for the competition of something. If I realize that there's no romantic connection, what I'm going to do is see if I can gracefully bow out. That way I don't offend anybody or hurt anybody or mislead anybody. So if you've really been watching the show, you're going to notice, if you watch me good, if anything that I've been showing you is reservation. And the reason I've been showing that reservation is because you got to take into consideration. Now I'm getting ready to dive into the show. You have to take this into consideration. There was only 3 weeks of shooting. 3 weeks for me. Others, there was 4 weeks. You are moving so fast to make a decision about people that you don't even know. Like you don't know. And most of these dates, if I'm being straight up with you, what you guys don't know is you don't even know who you getting ready to date. I'm going to give you an example, and I'm not going to make this about anybody, right? I have nothing but respect and love for my castmates. I don't care what they say or what interviews they do. I know for me, I know what I'm standing on. I'm not here to put anybody down, and I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to try to give you something factual, okay? factual is this. Guys, if you remember the first date that I had with Liz, that date was at my house. All right, I'm gonna set you up. I'm getting ready to hook you up, but I can only hook you up for what you've seen. I can't tell you what's coming, and nor can I get ahead of how they narrated me. So I will say this: the first date that Liz and I had, do you know I was at my house prepping for that date? And by that time, they're asking us, hey, pick who is your top three. So that's when we were like, hey, picking your top three. Guys, I'm on the same playing field as everybody else. I'm making multiple connections just like everybody else. Just like a woman chose a couple of different guys, I'm getting to know women and it's coming at me fast. And I'm not like making a point to say, hey, I'm choosing one person and one person only. So to go back to the date that I had with Liz, Liz came to my house. Production didn't even tell me who was coming. Man, hear me on that, man. I didn't even know who was coming to my house. It's not until I went outside my house and I saw Liz's car out there. Liz didn't even know where she was coming. So that was our first date because at that point, production was asking us, wait, hey, who's in your top three? I would, believe it or not, you wouldn't even know this. Chrysanthemum was in my top three. Kyra was in my top three. And Liz was. Y'all, my first date, I didn't even know who I was getting ready to sit down with and have a date with. I didn't know until 5 to 10 minutes before she came to the door. That's real. Now, it wasn't just like that for me. It was like that for a lot of the castmates. Production wanted a genuine response from you. When you would date somebody, they would not tell you who you were going to meet. They wanted a genuine response like, oh, all right, I'm meeting this person. Cool. All right, now let me walk you through the date. On that date, Liz and I was, we were Facebook friends. And I have nothing but adoration and respect for her, man. Nothing but love and respect for her. And I genuinely mean that. So we're on the date. They tell me it's Liz. Okay, cool. She come in, we sit down. Liz was chosen because, again, she was in my top three at that time. You got to remember, everybody had like a top three or top two. I wasn't the only one. I mean, for real. So walking through that, we sat down, we talked, we had a good date. She walked away from it. Hey, I think I like him more. I've gotten to know him a little better. I walked away. Hey, I think I had a good date with her. I appreciate that. I know her a little bit better. So that's all I had to go on. Now, same time. What you don't see, now you got to remember what I just said. A bunch of recording is going on. And what they do is they take all the recording and they say, what show or storyline do we want to give the audience? The same time I had a date with Liz, 3-4 days later, a week later, I had a date with Kyra. A dinner date, same vibe. We sit down, we have a good time. And with all of that, you know, now I'm back and forth on like, all right, who do I like? You got to remember, again, this is 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know who I like. I'm trying to figure this stuff out too. And what I'm not going to do is be so intentional to move so fast and compromise somebody's heart and compromise mine. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it for a show. I'm not doing it for nothing. And where others may have had connections, what you noticed about David Brown is I didn't get romantically involved in anybody. I didn't kiss anybody. That's because I didn't want to mislead anybody. I'm telling you, I didn't want to mislead anybody. I stayed back to figure out my feelings before I jumped in. The last thing I want to do is get to, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. The last thing I want to do is get to the end of a show. Do you know how many people are tired of watching a show and you see that people are making connections and then you see that they're not together at the end of the show? I wasn't going to do that. I'm not here to play with somebody's heart. So I had to make decisions within myself. I opened myself up to the process and I made decisions within myself to be fair to myself and to other people. You guys don't see that. So it's easy for certain people when I read my DM. And it's hurtful when people say certain things and you make a decision about something you don't even know yet. You got a little bit of information and you ran with that. I'm going to get to the kiss. It's going to make total sense to you. So again, I had dates with Kyra too. As a matter of fact, the same amount of dates I had with Liz is the same amount of dates I had with Kyra. Do y'all remember, and I'm going to go to this show right here. Do you remember on the double date where she met my friends? Again, I didn't choose that. They are building a story. They put that together. I didn't choose that. They did. So when I get there, all right, hey, Liz is coming. Great, no problem. You got to remember, I'm opening myself to the process. Liz is in my number 1. She's in my number 2. We're back and forth. Everybody's back and forth. So in all fairness, maybe she was right. I'll give some honesty to that. Maybe she was right when she says, hey, I don't deserve for somebody to go back and forth with me. Well, I was doing what everybody else was doing. I couldn't make a decision with anybody in three weeks. I'm sorry, but I couldn't. And I know in my heart that I wasn't trying to mislead anybody. So anyway, we get on that date with my friends. And so if you watch the show, go back and watch it. I chose my friends. To believe it or not, that's a good question. I chose my two best friends that I've been knowing since 14. They end up having issues. They caught a flat tire. They couldn't make it to the show. So I ended up going with 2 of my other close friends. So those 2 friends showed up. All right, I'm gonna get to questions in a second. Because I want to take y'all all the way to deliberation, and I want to take y'all all the way to the where the guys sat down and talked. So anyway, on that date, my friends are there. Go back and watch me. The one thing you're gonna notice about me is I'm reserved. And I'm only reserved because I was previously married and because I want to make the right decision as it pertains to a mate. It's not a contest with me. It's not about a show with me. I open myself up and I put myself there. And to be honest, I'll tell you something. I really wish I hadn't now. Man, I'm telling you. I say that from my heart. I really wish I hadn't. I can't do nothing about it now, so here we are. The show is unfolding. And to add to that, I reached out to a friend of mine who was on a previous episode, a previous season. And I asked him, hey, how is all this going to work out? You know what this person told me? They says, David, this ain't a lane. This person said to me, you are truly a Christian. This may not be your lane. That person said that to me. But by that time, I'm already doing the show. So going to that date, I have nothing. I speak highly of all the castmates. I speak highly of Liz. I speak highly of Kyra. I don't even care that me and Stacy had a bump, right? Because what happens is you're not going to be locked in with everybody. You find that out. That's in life. The dating show itself is just how life is. You find out, hey, I had a good date with this person, or I want to move forward with this person. It's not that you're flip-flopping. It's that you're self-aware on what works for you. And before you go ahead diving in with somebody and misleading them with your feelings, you should really analyze how you're really feeling about this person. And I was doing that, y'all. That's all I can say is I was doing that. And notice the show. I'm telling you, if you watch it from the episode 1 all the way to where we are right now, I've just been reserved. That's it. I was reserved. That's because I didn't want to make a wrong decision about anybody, whether they was on the show or in life, period. I don't want to make a wrong decision about my mate. And I don't think you would either. So, hey, I appreciate all the reviews about I need therapy. I will share this with you. I think we all could use some therapy. We all come from broken places at times. And while it's so easy to say that to somebody, is the genuine context when you say somebody needs therapy, is the genuine context, is it being said out of compassion and love? Are you really saying you need it because I care that you be fixed or healed in areas? Or are you saying it to be nasty? Are you saying it because you recognize something that you didn't like? So when, as people, we deal with people, I hope we're doing things to impart in somebody, to heal and help, not to hurt. And I mean that from my heart. People, you don't have to know me or know my life, but I have a love and a care for people, and I don't like to see people hurt. So for me personally, I will continue to seek therapy through Jesus Christ, naturally, because I choose to grow. I choose to be better. I choose to be the man God has called me to be. And I used, yes, God on this platform because whether if I made a love connection or not, I'm still somebody from my life. Somebody's going to be watching a reality show not knowing that God came this way. Man, God, you've been speaking to me. God, you've been calling me. And I didn't know that I was going to be watching a reality show and you spoke to me through the reality show. And that's why I said, don't be drawn to David Brown. Be drawn to the Holy Ghost that lives in me, the Holy Spirit that lives in me. And just to go back to the show just for a second, as far as the interaction with people. So, y'all, I'm going to bring y'all to the deliberation, and I'm going to get on the kiss. I'm in there with the guys. Check this part out. Do you remember the part? Now, you got to remember everything that I just said. The number of dates I had with Liz is the same number of dates I had with Kyra. All right, got to be fair about this. There were other people dating multiple people. I was no different. So when Tommy asked, who do you choose? Check this out. I actually said no one. God knows, the men know, everybody was in that room. They said if the show was to end today, who do you choose? I actually said no one. The reason I said no one is because I knew honestly I had not been making a romantic connection with anybody that I wanted to continue to carry on with. Put 10 people in a room, all right, and drop you in that room with those. Put 9 people in a room, mixed, right, men and women. Drop you in that room now, and I'm telling you, pick somebody in this room. You gotta pick somebody. Just because you don't pick somebody doesn't make them bad people, and it don't make you a bad person. That just means that the 10 that were in the room, you just didn't have a romantic connection with. And that's okay. That's what it was like for me. I was in a room with women and I wasn't quick to pick. You know, I wasn't quick to pick. So go to the deliberation. Truthfully, Tommy said, Dave, you gotta pick somebody. Well, y'all, you gotta remember, I was going back and forth with Liz and Kyra. So me personally, I can't speak for the other guys' experience. I picked Kyra based on my experience because what y'all don't know is I built a friendship with her off camera. She was checking on me. Houston had a storm. We had no reception here in Houston on phones. And some of y'all that live in Houston, you'll know what I'm talking about. Phones wasn't working. We had an ice storm out here. Well, who's calling checking on me? Kyra did. Who was reaching out to me 2 to 3 times a week just to build a friendship? Kyra was. Honestly, call it me, call it my fault, whatever. I probably only talked to Liz a couple of times on the phone. Now, she did reach out to me and she told me, and I'm going to deliberation now, and I appreciate, man, this was sweet about her. This was so genuinely sweet about her. She said, Dave, had a date with Jason, and I just want to let you know I kissed him. I kid you not, I don't make this up. I said, Liz, I appreciate you being honest about that. She said, I just don't want you to find out from anybody else, so I'm just letting you know. I said, I appreciate that. And I told her that it was okay. Kid you not. The reason I told her it was okay is because everybody was making connections with different people. And what I said to her was, hey man, we all have moments with different people. Y'all, it didn't hurt me that she kissed somebody else. That wasn't a big deal to me. Even in my private confessions, I said I was cool. Hey, check this out. I was cool with the producer in there. Me and him was tight. We had built a good, camaraderie, laugh, jokes with each other. He asked me, he said, so how did you feel when the kiss happened? I said, I felt some type of way. I said, but you know what? Which was cut. I said, you know what? I told her that it was okay. Wasn't no problem with it. No big deal. But they didn't play that part. So now we're in the men's deliberation again. I can't speak for the other guy's experience, but I made my decision because I was back and forth between two people and I couldn't make a decision in a 3-week time frame. If y'all don't get that, man, I'm sorry. 3 weeks. They never showed any storyline with me and other dates. So all you saw is what you saw. And you're making a decision based on what you saw. So, and again, even with Kyra, she spoke of me in her confessions, things like that. But they're only recording and showing you certain things. This show has to be dramatic. The editing has to make sense. Man, I'm telling you, like, I can't make this stuff up. Like, I'm so for real. I cannot make this stuff up. And if anybody knows about reality shows, man, it's going light speed. And again, they're going to show what they want to show. And I hate that you guys couldn't see all of this. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Let me come back and then I'm going to go ahead and hone in on this and be done. When you see next show, when you see the next episode, there's a storyline behind that. And I didn't make this up. And it's going to make sense. I would be extremely mad at me too. Listen to me. It says, David, I was extremely mad at you, but now I honestly believe you. I kid you not. I would be mad at me too if what you saw was the truth. It looks like I flip-flop. But what I'm telling you is facts, man. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm telling you facts. I wanted to build, y'all, a friendship with the ladies more so than jump into a romantic involvement with them because, again, I'm not looking to be intimate with anybody, kiss on anybody. I'm just trying to figure out, do we gel? Are we good? Like, can we move on to the next date or whatever? So, y'all, I was reserved. And if you go back and really watch it, I was reserved all of the episodes. And maybe that wasn't fair to the women, and I admit that. And I'm sorry I can't go back and change that. And I'm sorry if that made a bad storyline. But I was reserved. I really was. Because I just didn't want to making a decision for my person or making a decision for me to date somebody seriously. I just can't move so quick like that. I'm sorry. So, deliberation, it went that way. It looked like I flip-flopped, but I didn't. I made a decision based on that current week. I just had, a time with Kyra, so I made a decision. As to what happened with the other guys, that's their personal journey, and they would have to share it with you. It takes a lot for me to be vulnerable and even share this with y'all. Y'all, I kid you not. This stuff, I'll be reading these comments, and I ain't lying. I don't have a callus, and pray for me in that regard. Sometimes things affect me, and things what people say affect me because I care about my character. I care about my integrity. I care about what I stand for. But what I'm realizing is I can't control what people are going to say or what people are going to think. But I can do what I'm doing right now and make you guys aware that like the show, love the show. Just know that other things are going on that the camera can't catch. And always leave it out there to say, man, I think it might be something else to this. Because 9 times out of 10, it really is. It really is. So I'm going to take 3 questions, all right? I'm going to take 3 questions, and I do the best I can to open myself up to vulnerability. And again, I lift all of the women up. If they found love or not, I lift them all up, and I care for all of God's children to have that place of somebody loving them and them loving somebody. I think we all are worthy of that. And please don't take this show and reduce me to cuts and edits. I am at the mercy of edits. And please don't take this show and reduce me to that. I am truly, I love the Lord so much. I love my family so much. I love people so much. I care for the castmates. But if anything I was guilty of on this show is being reserved. I'm sorry I couldn't give y'all a better depiction of that as it relates to these edits.